Good evening, everyone. Back with another quick update on our NASCAR weekend. We've had two races today. One was the Craftsman Truck Series over in St. Petersburg. For the first time ever, the trucks were on a street course. Really, really tight racetrack. It was crazy to watch what I caught of it. Just insane. It made, if you're a NASCAR fan and you saw the Chicago street course, that track looks like Talladega compared to St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg was just tight. Really impressive to see the trucks going around there. IndyCar will race there tomorrow. A little bit different. IndyCar doesn't have a lot of side-by-side racing like NASCAR does. But there was times these trucks were going three wide through these corners, and it was pretty crazy. The race was pretty well dominated by Ford. Two teams, and as a matter of fact, Front Row Motorsports got the win with Lane Riggs in the number 34 truck, who started 28th, came all the way through the field, and came through the field pretty fast. Ty Majeski wound up second for Thor Sport. Ben Rhodes for Thor Sport came in third, and Chandler Smith, who's the winner of the Daytona 500, or I'm sorry, the Daytona Truck Series race, came in fourth. So Ford swept the top four positions. The next positions were Caden Honeycutt, Landon Lewis, Andreas Perez de Lara, Daniel Hemrick, Colin Brown, who was really, really exciting to watch himself. Another young kid, I think he's 22 maybe. Anyway, he's out of Texas. And James Hinchcliffe, the former IndyCar driver, came in 10th. Dario Franchitti was in the race, but had some issues and wound up a lap down. So that was the Truck Series race. Pretty exciting to watch for the first time. I wasn't sure how it was going to play out, and played out pretty good. Then the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series kicked off down in Austin, Texas, at the Circuit of the Americas, which was looking, my preview said it should have been a battle. I was looking at Shane Van Gisbergen versus Connor Zilisch, and it didn't really play out that way. Connor was up there for a little bit, but Shane Van Gisbergen did what Shane Van Gisbergen does and just pretty much won. Won by almost a full second, 0.7 of a second, which was kind of expected. A lot of the guys, Ross Chastain from the Cup Series was running in it, so Shane Van Gisbergen. Connor Zilisch wound up finishing 21st. So had a little bit of a rough go, 25 seconds behind the leader. So I think there was an issue involved on the last lap or last few laps with him and Corey Day. Corey Day's really, really young, but man, he's super talented, but he's super aggressive. And he takes chances when he has to and does what he does. So don't blame the kid for it. So kind of went as we expected. Van Gisbergen is just dominant on these road courses. And we're going to see what happens tomorrow in the Cup Series, which that race kicks off at 3:30 tomorrow on Fox. You got a couple of different storylines in this race. We got Tyler Reddick going for 3 in a row. Nobody has ever done it in the history of NASCAR, gone the first 3 races of the year. There have been multiple people that have won 3 races in a row, but not the first 3. And if you factor in that 2 of those were drafting super speedway type tracks where chaos happens, that's even more impressive. You also have Shane Van Gisbergen. Of course, he's starting 13th. I'll run through the top 10 starters here in a few minutes, but he's starting 13th. He's one to watch. He's going for the record-tying 6th consecutive road course / street course victory, tying Jeff Gordon. We'll see if he can pull that off. So there's a couple different storylines to watch. with these within this race. He's starting 13th. We'll run through the top 10 real quick, which starting on the pole, especially at a street or road courses, is really, really can be a big advantage here. And of course, Tyler Reddick took the pole. Ross Chastain is going to roll off second. Chase Briscoe third. Ryan Blaney, pretty impressive from Blaney. He's a decent road course racer, but it's not really his, top skill. But starting fourth, he looked really good today in practice and qualifying. Chase Elliott, another good road course racer, runs off fifth. Michael McDowell, kind of known as a road course guy, is sixth. AJ Allmendinger, known as a road course guy, is seven. Christopher Bell, really good, won this race last year, eighth. Ty Gibbs starting ninth is pretty good for Ty Gibbs. And William Byron, who actually owns the most laps led ever at COTA, all time, rolls off 10th. So pretty good variety of teams and manufacturers. Ford's not as prevalent as the Chevys and Toyotas, but you got some Ford guys in the back who are not in the back, but kind of in the middle, who are good road course racers, and I'd expect to climb to the front, like an Austin Cindric, maybe even a Todd Gilliland, Chris Buescher, Zane Smith starting 11th. So you got a little bit of a variety of stuff going on here. Still think you got to watch Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilisch. Connor Zilisch actually was looking really good. He had like one of the top practice times, but qualified 25th. So we're going to see how good he is at coming from the back. We saw with the truck series, it can be done, different course, of course, but we'll see what happens with it. Other than that, I'm going to give my fantasy picks real quick. I'm going to take Shane Van Gisbergen. I'm going to take Connor Zilisch. I'm going to take Blaney probably. Yeah, I'm going to take Blaney. I need two more. Give me AJ Allmendinger. And we will take a flyer with Chris Buescher. And then in my garage, so if I need to switch a driver out before the start of the third stage, in my garage, I'm going to put Alex Bowman. So that's going to be my fantasy lineup. You can go set it through the NASCAR app and get your points. So I don't know what the head-to-heads are yet. Let me see if I can pull that up, and I'll see who I'm going to select on head-to-heads as soon as I can get to my app real quick. Let's go. Let's go. Your matchups are Van Gisbergen versus Connor Zilisch. I'm going to take Van Gisbergen. Reddick and Byron. I'm going to take Reddick. Kyle Busch and Ross Chastain. Kyle Busch is really good on road courses, but man, he's starting 30th, and I don't know what happened there. So I'm going to take Chastain. And then Briscoe and Ty Gibbs, I'm going to take Chase Briscoe. So give me Briscoe over Gibbs, Chastain over Busch, Reddick over Byron, and Van Gisbergen over Zilisch. Those will be my head-to-head matchups for my fantasy team. There's also a 36 for 36, like a streak. Pick one driver per week. I'm throwing. You can throw Shane Van Gisbergen in here. The problem is you have 3 more road courses after this you may want to use him for. So this would be a good place to use a Chris Buescher or a Daniel Suarez, who's pretty good on road courses. Somebody along those lines that's not necessarily one of the aces. But that's one thing I'd look for is that. I'm probably going to use Van Gisbergen, but you could use Zilisch here if you wanted and save Van Gisbergen for a future road course. So you really can't go wrong. It's just a matter of who you think will win. But I've given you some names that you could throw in there. Other than that, we're going to go have a good evening, and hope everybody tunes in and watches the race tomorrow. It should be really exciting. That's a really fun race to watch. I'm not a big road course guy, but that one is one I do enjoy watching. So hope everybody will tune in tomorrow and have a good evening.